Hey, it's Dorleen, and today I'm working on a one-page layout. I'm going to try to fit all those photos on this one page because, as you know, I like multiple photo layouts, and I want pages that showcase the photos, not necessarily the products. Now, I do love my products, and if you're a scrapbooker, you're probably agreeing with me. We don't buy those things for anything. We do love them. I cut down that beach paper, or that, I should say, that wood paper, to 11.5 by 11.5, so just a 1/2 inch off on both, two different sides. And I'm going to trim down, or I trimmed down that photo that I just pointed out to a very thin piece because I didn't need all that additional sand or sky because there wasn't anything there that I was really showcasing. So I'm going to use both of those smaller photos as kind of accent pieces. So in a sense, it'll be like showing off, using them as embellishments. So I grabbed this paper because of that one little section I pointed out where it says boardwalk. Now the funny thing is I cut it down and you can't even see the boardwalk portion, but that's fine. I still like the paper. I think it's really cute. Now we ended up going to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk on one of my son's birthday, and first we stopped at a place called Moe's Alley, which you can see kind of burned into the wood on that picture of our Bloody Mary. And so I wanted to make sure that you can see that portion. And then right after, we went to the boardwalk. We didn't stay there very long. That wasn't really the plan. We were just kind of going with the flow. So I wasn't too worried about making this like a beach photo. And that's why I selected that wood grain with the sand towards the bottom versus the the shell paper that's on the back. But the good thing is, because I did really like that shell paper, I decided to put a strip of paper, and I'm going to use that shell paper. So the nice thing about double-sided paper is sometimes you can use both sides. So I just trimmed that down to 4 1/4, and so that it would fit fine for when I put the photos on top. I didn't need to mat the photos or anything because I did already have the white borders from when I cut them down. So I just adhere them over there. So even though you can't fully see that shell strip, I still think it was enough of it to give it a little bit more interest and kind of separate it from the base page. I do like to cut down pattern papers like I did with that whitewashed wood down a little bit, and then put a solid cardstock underneath it, because that also kind of makes things pop. Now, a lot of times I'll gut the middle pages depending on what they are or how much I have of it. I have a lot of this blue, so I wasn't too concerned about it. And plus, the pattern paper, that wood grain, was still kind of a little thinner, so I didn't want to gut it and then just have a really thin center. I hope that makes sense. But if you look at my videos, you can see that I do gut papers a lot, especially when the pattern paper is also a thick or a heavier pattern paper. So I just matted that main photo. I really love that photo of 3 of my kids. I do have 4. One of them was missing. Like I said, it was just like a very spur of the moment trip. We went to go see a live band, and then we went to the beach for a short time. But this is really a compliment page from my son's birthday from the day before. We kind of extended the weekend. So anyhow, I added some colored strips, some just orange, because of that orange on that wood. I really wanted it to be a little bit more reddish, but I couldn't find a scrap piece, and I didn't want to cut down a full piece. So I kind of used what I had, and I think that orange really does set it off a little bit. I like that. Now, I didn't show it, so I think I must not have filmed it, but up above that slim with an M photo, the one that I'm using as an accent, where I have 2 of my kids, you can see them kind of walking in a distance. There is a piece of paper that has shells on it. That's actually a 3x4 card, like a pocket page card, and I just trimmed off a small part of the bottom, and so I measured it so part of that was up on the top and the other part's on the bottom. So it looks like it's one full sheet of paper, but it really is only that 3x4 card just cut in half, or not in half, but you know what I mean. So this, I am working on a sketch, and I will put the sketch on my blog. Also, any information that you may need as far as close-up pictures, what products I use, where they're from, things like that, measurements, on my blog, which I'll have in the information box below. And again, the sketches from Sketch and Scrap, and I'll have a link to their blog in the information box as well as my blog. Anyhow, I do post at least 2 videos a week. One will always be scrapbooking, and one will be whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. And the command center is the name of my craft room and also the name of my blog. I did stamp just a random amount of shells, just use some blue-gray alcohol marker. I didn't want a whole lot of color, just a little bit of color was fine. Fussy cut those all out, and then I just knew I wanted them kind of just here and there across the page. I wasn't really sure exactly where I was putting all the embellishments. I just knew it needed some. That's very photo heavy, which, like I mentioned before, I love. I love having more than one photo when possible, and especially like in this photo, this page, 2 of them are technically like embellishments, and so I love that whole idea of stuff. So I'm just kind of fiddling with the placement of the shells, not really sure exactly where I'm putting them to where it kind of balances. I used another one of those pocket page cards to I punched it out and used it as a journaling spot, and I also used another piece, and you'll see me in a little bit use it. I punched out a tab that I use on that top right left, and then another little, like, just a scrap portion of it, and you'll see me in a minute creating a small cluster over on the top right, kind of in that little empty space of my son on the beach, over in the sand. But again, you'll see that in just a little bit, because I did want to do the visual triangle, and I just kind of kept trying to make it work above those smaller photos, and it just didn't look right to me. And then I had a little aha moment and put it over there in that that right side, and that upper right side, and you'll see it, like I said, in a moment. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I know it's very basic, but isn't that what scrapbooking is supposed to be about? We're concentrating on the photos. We're using our products because that's why we buy them. We love them. Color coordinated, and everything is photo based and photo focused. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Again, I do post 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. If you have a special project you'd like me to work on, please leave that in the comments as well. I always love trying new things, and I'd love to see what you'd like me to create. All right, thanks again for watching. Bye. Sorry, I didn't realize I had so much film left, so I didn't want to cut it off too short. But there is what I'm talking about. Now, really, that could have just been a scrap of nothing, and I probably would have just thrown it away. But just a little extra touch like that really does make a huge difference. So if you have paper scraps, or if you're messing around with your page and you realize you have a lot of extra scraps, instead of tossing them or adding them to your scrap pile, which, because we know we all have a ton of scraps, use those little pieces, because it really does add just a little extra something. So I hope you like that tip. Again, thanks for watching, and enjoy. Bye.